What's up, everybody? Hope the 93 in the place to be. Welcome to the Wrestling Corner, season 5 of episode 2 of season 5. That's the right way to always do it. Hope everybody had a nice weekend on their end. Funny to say that. I sure did, even though I must admit this last yesterday's NFL games was not the most entertaining. There was a lot of blowouts, but at least the Broncos and Lions game had some highlights that was worthwhile. But on the college end, there were some entertaining games like that Florida Tennessee game. Great comeback, Florida. I don't know how many of you guys that watch the corner are college football or NFL fans, but I'm just giving a rundown on how I spent my weekend. On today's corner, I will give my predictions on this Saturday's MSG special on the network. So, basically, the prediction on the matches that they have announced so far. Also, I will be talking about TNA's biggest event of the year, Bound for Glory, and also I will be talking about news that I just found out today about Summerslam, and it's basically about it's about its location, not only SummerSlam but NXT, but mostly I want to talk about SummerSlam because this was something that a while back me and Chris, my friend kid, my bro, talked about how in a way something that we did not want, even though in a way it would kind of be a little bit good, but in a way we still would want something that we kind of I wouldn't say feared, but didn't want to predict to be true. um, but so that's basically what's going to be covered on this edition of the Wrestling Corner. So right now we have a heel versus heel match. Rusev versus Owens is not the first time that they've gone against each other, and also on this past Raw, we basically on Raw we've had John Cena. We've had John Cena, start up his open challenge, his U.S. Open Challenge again, um, and was challenged by New Day member Xavier Woods, and it was a pretty okay match, but it led into a 6-man tag match that had that saw New Day pick up the win. Well, we also had Miz TV basically with all, and there goes Ryback. Oh, could we be having a triple threat IC feud? Oh no, don't do this to Ryback. No. Oh. Oh yeah, so basically had a long Miz TV segment between basically with most everybody from Paige, Charlotte, Becky, and Team Bella, and it led into an impromptu. I know there was 2 impromptu 6-man tag. I mean 6 people tag matches. Here comes Dolph. Duo super. I'm not so sure if that was scheduled. But no. It wasn't. It wasn't. No, it wasn't scheduled because Michael said impromptu. So there was 2 impromptu 6 people tag matches, and then also you had Big Show once again. Big Show getting pushed to look like a threat because of the MSG match against Brock. Basically went through Mark Henry. And then there was also Braun and Luke going through I'm about to say the New Day, the Primetime Players. We had the Return of the Demon again. Basically a segment, basically like Kane being like, I don't know, like the thing was being reevaluated, and Seth broke it up and everything, and try to smash his ankle. He did smash ankle again, but because Kane went into an ambulance and basically changed into the demon and stomped his foot, everything was fine. Hey, it's Brian. And the bells. And he choke slammed Rollins and tried to go for, the tombstone, but hey, yeah, they were just showing him on Sunday NFL Countdown. And he got a big moment where he was able to, it was a big moment where he got to bang the drum, at the Carolina Panthers game. Because the Carolina Panthers, they have a motto of keep pounding, which started from, I believe the player's last name was Mills. I think Sam Mills, because he passed away of cancer. So, and that was his motto that has carried on and been a major influence to the Carolina Panthers. So, it's pretty nice to see stuff like that. But now on to hey, Paul Heyman's here. Hey, Paul Heyman's here. Okay. Just had to check something. So, probably get into, the show's basically agenda. Basically starting off with, the MSG special. I think this is, I think it's a house show. It's a house. It is a house show. It's just like, how can I put it? It's just like Beast, Beast from the East. It's like Beast from the East. Beast from the East was basically a glorified house show, but it was a certain element, and it's the constant element is Brock Lesnar that kind of makes it more than a house show. But I believe the MSG special is basically going to be, once again, a glorified house show, and the big promoted match is basically Brock Lesnar versus Big, if not Brock Lesnar himself, because for the longest it was Brock Lesnar live at Madison Square Garden. That's what first was being built up as. So even though Big Show is going against Brock Lesnar again, the way still the Brock Lesnar is the big promotion, the most promoted thing of the card. And so far, the only matches that have been announced besides Brock Lesnar and Big Show are the New Day defending their titles against the Dudleys again, since, the match of night champions that did in the DQ. Also, if I'm not mistaken, that's about it. Those have been like the only two matches that have been announced. I mean, locally, since it's going to be in New York, we get, basically I got the local commercial where, WWE Live coming to, Madison Square Garden. And what they promoted was John Cena versus Seth Rollins in a steel cage match for the United States title. So I'm guessing that will still be on the card, because, once again, I think the only two matches that will probably be canon to, what goes on on Raw or SmackDown, mostly Raw because I'm not SmackDown. What happens on SmackDown doesn't really translate into what goes on Raw anymore that much. So it seems like the only two matches that are going to be canon to what goes on a weekly basis will be the New Day Dudley Boys match and the Brock Lesnar Big Show match because they haven't built up John Cena versus Seth Rollins steel cage match for the United States side. They had a match, they had the rematch on last week's Raw, and I believe I remember Nate telling me that Jericho was going to be returning for that house show, and at the time it was to go against Kevin Owens. I don't know if that's once again, that saying go card is subject to change. I don't know if that has changed. I don't know if they're going to try to add more canon to the event by having Jericho go up against Ambrose because we still haven't got any follow up on that. We got a mention of it when Ambrose mentioned it in that backstage segment with Roman Reigns, but other than that, really nothing else. And basically, okay, so with the two promoted matches, the two established matches, it's pretty obvious. We're gonna get the obvious out of the way. Big Show versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's winning. I won't be surprised Brock Lesnar goes through Big Show again like he did at Royal Rumble, probably minus the chair this time. Because look, honestly, once again, this whole October is basically being promoted. It's basically promoted to Brock Lesnar. It's basically dedicated to Brock Lesnar. This is the go-to hell tour for Brock Lesnar. And Big Show's push seems to be only for this match. It's only to make him appear as a threat to Brock Lesnar, to build up for the match. And I bet you, and I could be wrong, but I bet you after the MSG special passes by, Big Show's not going to be, is not going to be having, these dominant victories as he's been having, or is going to be going on this winning streak that he's been having. I don't. I think this is just only for the MSG special, and unfortunately, I think it's kind of upsetting that this Big Show small push that he's getting is coming at the expense of, I don't know, I can't really say Mark Henry. Mark Henry's kind of been at the expense of a lot of things, but it's been at the expense of pushes of the likes of Cesaro, who once again, I guess, got another start and stop push, which really doesn't benefit anybody, a start and stop push. But I predict Brock Lesnar to beat Big Show. I won't be surprised it's decisive, and it's, I'm great. Big Show, get some offense in, but maybe it'll be a little bit close, but I still think Brock Lesnar is going to win decisively. I don't see any. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Seeing right here. Okay. All right. So far, okay. Thanks to my friend Lloyd, come Big Show. So, friend Lloyd, the card for MSG special looks to be Seth Rollins versus United U.S. champions John Cena, but it says from a for the WWE title. Randy Orton versus Sheamus again. Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev again. Kevin Owens versus Cesaro again. And then Brock Lesnar versus, but you're gonna be obviously gonna be going against Big Show. And yeah, and Chris Jericho, you know, as Chris Jericho's gonna be there. So that's basically, yeah, okay, and Jericho versus Jericho versus Owens. Okay, so since it's a house show, I really, most of the house shows are favored to the faces unless unless there's a heel champion. So I predict Dolph Ziggler to get another win over Rusev. I predict Randy Orton to get a win over Sheamus. And I predict maybe Owens to break the face winning streak, and maybe he'll get a win on Cesaro. It's big. It's funny. People give this "please retire" stuff about Big Show. I saw a sign today that had the "please retire" tour, and it had Big Show, Kane, the Bella Twins, and I think Cena, and then it said ran out of room. Oh, Paul, you really gonna let Big Show upstage you? Well, after what Brock Lesnar did to you at the Rumble, I don't think he has any reason to be scared of you, Big Show. But okay, so that wait, I forgot. No, I forgot. Why did I say Kevin Owens and Jericho? And Owens. I mean, Kevin Owens and Cesaro. I mean, Kevin Owens and Jericho. I still predict probably Owens to win that. Look at him in his face. I predict KO to get a win over Jericho. And I know in some eyes like, oh, it's pretty easy to predict Jericho to lose now because he mostly comes back to put over young and up and coming wrestler. He put over Braun Strowman. It seems like to the chagrin of many. But then again, at Beast in the East, I thought that he was going to lose to Neville, and he wound up winning that match. So I can't really say I'm predicting Kevin Owens to win because Jericho is fond of he's gained a reputation of just coming back to put over young up and coming. No, I just predict Kevin Owens to win because he's probably an Intercontinental champion, and he's Kevin Owens. Why would you? There's nothing. You'd be kind of a fool to bet against him. There's certain people that you'd be a fool to bet against. I'm saying, not saying you are a fool to bet Jericho to win because you can't be a fool to bet against Jericho. So, it's kind of a being between a rock and a hard place. But I predict Kevin Owens to win, and it might be the best match of the night. And then as for the Dudley Boys and the New Day, I mean, since this is basically in between Hell in a Cell and Night of Champions, I'm a little bit hesitant about that because it's in between. It's going to be in between Night of Champions and Hell in a Cell. But it's in Madison Square Garden. No, WWE likes to have something special go down Madison Square Garden. I don't blame them. It's the quote unquote the world's famous arena. You know, it's one of those sayings, if you can make it in the Garden, you can make it, you know, they say you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere that goes for the Garden. If you can make it in the Garden, you can make it anywhere. You know, getting over in the Garden is like a real test. It's almost like how, and once again in New York, it's almost like getting over in the Apollo. You get over in the Apollo, that's a big deal. And that's the same thing for the Garden. You get over in the Garden is a big deal. So W likes to do special moments in Garden. So I would not be surprised. So if the Dudley Boys win, and I do predict the Dudley Boys, if they don't win at the Garden, I still think they're going to win regardless. I think the eventual, you know, end game is the Dudley Boys coming back to become record time 10-time tag team champions. If it doesn't happen at the Garden, you know, I predicted it happen in the Garden, then probably at Hell in a Cell. Because so far I don't see any other face team getting, you know, with a consistent push. Yeah, the Lucha Dragons are doing this thing with Neville now, but you know, they took a loss to they take a loss to, I think, on SmackDown. They took a loss to man, who did they take a, see, because I came back when I came back from work. SmackDown was already on, and WWE just beat me to it. Yeah, see, this is what I'm gonna talk about. SummerSlam, beat me to it, baby. SummerSlam coming back to, you know, the Barclays Center for 2016 and 2017. But and I guess that would be a perfect segue into it, since then WWE beat me to it. So yeah, as you can see, SummerSlam, you know, they lost Samoa Joe and down the first round. Oh, that's for the Lucha Drag. Yeah, and I still gotta watch the Dusty special for NXT. I'm behind on NXT, and you know, I've heard from, you know, friend Nate that there's been good matches. So and that's nothing. And that's nothing to uh, there's nothing to not expect from NXT. You know, in terms of quality in the ring. But you know, since WWE beat me to it once again, yeah, SummerSlam. I found this out today. You know, I was at school and I was, you know, looking. I went on Bleacher Report and I found out, that yeah, SummerSlam, yeah, NXT, you know, is coming back to Brooklyn for both. Well, I think it meant for NXT too, for both 2016, 2017. But most I really want to talk about SummerSlam. So SummerSlam, yeah, is coming back to the Barclays on Brooklyn for the next 2 years. And a couple of corners back, you know, me and Chris talked about, you know, that, you know, how good it was, how good. This was even before SummerSlam came. So SummerSlam 2015 happened. That, you know, it was pretty good that they basically, you know, got away from, you know, it SummerSlam being a Los Angeles exclusive event. Because for me, I was getting a little bit annoyed about that. But at the end of the day, I thought of it as a business move. You know, okay, maybe they're getting a lot of revenue, you know, by being in Los Angeles during, you know, the SummerSlam period. But, you know, I'm also thinking, okay, but, you know, what about everybody else? You know, you don't think you can get, you know, for many SummerSlams, you've been going from different cities and, you know, provided, you know, great events and good revenue, I believe. And now, because for when it became almost a Los Angeles exclusive event, it went from 2009 to 2014. So that was 6 years. For 6 SummerSlams, you know, it was in Los Angeles. So me and Chris, kind of, you know, it was pretty funny that we kind of didn't really want it to be the same. Okay, now that they're gonna when they announce that, yeah, SummerSlam's going SummerSlam's gonna come to the Barclays. At first, we thought it was gonna come to Madison Square Garden, but it's gonna come to Barclays, Brooklyn. We thought, okay, that's good and all, but in a way, we're thinking, hey, they might do the same thing again. They might have it be, come back to the same place for the next couple of years. But the irony was that, me and Chris, joked about that. It would provide us more opportunities to probably go to a SummerSlam, because one of me and Chris's, and we basically said this on the corner before that, uh, me and Chris always had, the the almost a guarantee, uh, almost a guarantee, or that when WrestleMania 30 came, because at the time we thought that it was still going to follow the tradition that every 10 years it will come back to Madison Square Garden. That when WrestleMania 30 comes, we'll be at it. We'll be at the event. And then when WWE kind of threw a curveball, and it came to the New York, New Jersey area a year early, and came to the MetLife. We're like, whoa. And then WrestleMania 30 come and think, okay, are they going to do it 2 straight years? And then no, New Orleans was announced as the event. We're like, and I remember those articles saying, the articles of fans like, oh, hey, how come you broke tradition? Because it was a tradition. So, I have a little bit mixed feelings on SummerSlam coming back to the Barclays for 2016, 2017. No, I'm not. I'm stop. Like, wait, hold up, guys. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. Um, so, like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not upset. Like, oh, like, this is bull. No, I'm just saying I'm a little bit mixed. That, okay, you're basically doing the same thing you did for Los Angeles. I don't know if it's gonna be as long as they did for SummerSlam at Los Angeles, but I just feel that every year it should be a different. Every year it should be a different city. I'm just that type of person, because for so long but then this could be just a business move. Once that they probably gain enough or good enough revenue around the summertime for certain, for these big markets. New York and LA, they're big markets. So So while I just hope I'm not once again. So while it's like, okay, you know, you're doing the same thing, but on the flip side, it's a bit of a good thing for me or for anybody else in the New York area because you know you now got if you didn't make it to SummerSlam 2015 or NXT Brooklyn. Look at this Bray Wyatt. You have two more chances. Once again, I'm not so sure if NXT's gonna be back for those, but I think so. Might as well. You got two more chances to make it to, you know, that 3-day event. So you know, I'm a little bit mixed on it. You know, remember me and Chris even said when it was before it was announced that SummerSlam 2015 was going to be at Barclays. We even said that, you know, the whole thing about the Los Angeles thing, even if it was in New York for like 6 years, we said we would still be like, okay, you know, could you have it somewhere else other than, you know, the same place? So, you know, so it's not like, oh, you know, where we were, you know, I'm having a change of heart. No, I'm sticking to, you know, my feelings. But at the same time, you know, just still sticking to my film. But on the flip side, you know, it's two. You know, I have 2 years and probably I got two opportunities to, you know, probably be at SummerSlam or be at NXT or even the Raw after SummerSlam. Um, so that about covers it for you know the whole SummerSlam 2000 SummerSlam location for its next 2 years, 2016, 2017. And so next, so SummerSlam's a big time event, and you know, so is probably not to the degree of SummerSlam. And once again, that's not a disrespect. That's not a shot at. Oh my God, what a DT! That's not a shot at Bound for Glory, but just saying, you know, Bound for Glory is supposed to be probably TNA's WrestleMania, but you know, SummerSlam has been one of the big fours for a long time. So, but Bound for Glory is a big event for TNA. It's TNA's biggest event. And, you know, it's going to happen, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to happen. Is it this? When is Bound for Glory? This Bound for Glory. Let me check. I think is it this Sunday or it's the next Sunday? Let me check. Yeah, it's this Sunday. Oh shoot! It is this Sunday, and see, and this brings up my point. This definitely brings up my point. Uh, this definitely brings up my point because you know I think I think it needs to be addressed because I'm not just talking about Bound. I'm not just going to talk about Bound for Glory. I'm talking about you know I'm talking about there's an issue. I feel there's an issue. You know, I have an issue with this year's Bound for Glory. And the crazy thing about it is, oh, the crazy thing about it is that this is 2 years straight where there's kind of been an issue with Bound for Glory, which is not a good sign if you think about it. You have, you know, and not when the event happens, you know, like 2 straight years was a bad. No, coming into the event, and there's been kind of issues with Bound for Glory. You know, last year's Bound for Glory, me and Chris said it. In a way, wasn't even part of TNA canon. It was treated as a separate event because of issues with with the tapings. You know, because TNA now tapes in such a big bulk now that you know when Bound for Glory when Bound for Glory happened, you know, when the day Bound for Glory was supposed to happen live in Japan, Bobby Lashley, on television was still the champ, but in reality, Bobby Roode had already beat him for the belt. Just that the taping had not shown yet, and you know, so that was an issue that led to the TNA title not being defended. And it's like, how do you have your biggest event and not have your biggest championship not be defended? So yeah, as big time as a big deal was TNA Bound for Glory being at Japan, the downside of it was that in a way it wasn't even really canon. And this year's is going to be canon, but there is a glaring issue, and the glaring issue once again comes down to, I guess you can say, TNA's taping pattern, with taping, in such a big bulk, and not even just that. In a way, you can say they kind of wasted that GFW invasion angle by having it come to an end at, on an Impact, instead of Bound for Glory, where they probably could have lasted to Bound for Glory with that lethal lockdown. Oh God! But it was ended it ended on Impact before, and then with 2 weeks to spare for Bound for Glory, and that's the issue. After the whole spending all that time on the GFW TNA angle, which didn't last that long, it lasted like 4 weeks or so. After spending all that time, they only had 2 weeks left to build to Bound for Glory. And okay, there's there's one match that you can say has kind of been hinted at for the couple of weeks, and that's Eric Young versus Kurt Angle. You can, but once again, since TNA tapes such a big boat, you probably was already spoiled that it's going to be Eric Young versus Eric Young versus Kurt Angle at Bound for Glory. Oh man, Reigns just collided into the steel steps. But that match kind of has been hinted at, Eric Young versus Kurt Angle. So I let that one slide. But EC3 versus Drew Galloway, no, that doesn't get a pass. Yes, Drew Galloway has been a focal point to TNA broadcasting in 2015, even though the disappointing Rising, stable. But he's kind of been a focal player, especially in that GFW TNA, feud. He was like he took up the charge. He led the charge. But so I'm not too surprised at Drew Galloway being the main event spot, being for the championship at Bound for Glory. However, you only got 2 weeks to really build any tension or get people to care about EC3 versus Drew Galloway. It's pretty cool that, this will be their first time, I believe, going against each other. So it's a first time meeting. So it's pretty cool. A first time meeting for the TNA World Championship at Bound for Glory. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Drew Galloway and EC3, they've never had a match against each other so far on TNA. I mean, in TNA. So that's gravy and all, but you only got 2 weeks to build it up. 2 weeks. You know what? Not even 2 weeks, because they didn't do anything. Because Drew Galloway, he became number one contender on last week's Impact taping. I mean, I'm airing. And next, this Impact is the go home show, where this is gonna be the only involvement they have with each other. So it's like, okay, there's really no build, and that's what I feel. That's a glaring issue. You know, how are you gonna have your TNA World Champion? I mean, your biggest, your for your the match for your big title. Probably only have 1 week of, build up. It was pretty cool that, you know, I think it was cool that there was some type of reward for the guys that stood up for TNA against GFW, that they earned a shot. I didn't mind that. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, that was logical. But then I started thinking about, wait a minute. After this, they only got, oh man, he just really whipped that guy into Bray. I mean, it's a Roman. But it's like, but then I start thinking about, wait, but after this, there's only one show. Oh my God! Oh, sugar honey iced tea. But, back to, but then I started thinking, wait a minute, after this, you only got one show. You only got one show to build any tension between them. And then when I think about it, it's almost like if that was the case, no, TNA might as well continue the Matt Hardy, basically the Hardys EC3 angle. I don't know about probably having, Matt Hardy finally finally beat him, or Jeff once again redeems himself at Bound for Glory and beats EC3. But in this case, probably Matt, because that's who was really going against EC3. So it seemed like it was almost like you might as well just kept that going then. But that wasn't the case, because if you look at it, it could have been Matt Hardy versus EC3 with, I don't know, Jeff as a special guest referee. Because, spoiler alert, oh my gosh, look out! No! Good Lord. Oh man. They ever just annihilated each other. And that's what I call, as Will Smith said in Independence Day, and that's what I call a close encounter. And if I'm not mistaken, correct, if I'm not prematurely predicting, yep, this is how Raw is going to end too. It's going to end with two guys flat on their back, breathing heavy with their eyes closed. Oh man, that was probably the most, besides the build to SummerSlam, probably the most intense that whole feud got. Hey, good old Friday, but this is on freaking USA. They're gonna cut mostly all the good stuff out. But yeah, I mean, at Bound for Glory, you could have had that lethal lockdown match, and Matt Hardy versus EC3 for the TNA World Championship. With Jeff as the referee, because the way, once again, the reason why I feel that you could have did that, and a lot because especially the second match, how Matt lost was kind of controversial, with kind of hinted at, okay, he's maybe gonna get another shot. He's probably gonna have to earn it, but he's gonna get another crack at EC3 because he got low blowed, and then that's how EC3 got the sunset flip. And you would think, oh, it'd be Matt be the one to get his brother out of the jam, but that wasn't the case. And it's not only the ECW. It's not only the TNA World Championship. It's also the TNA Knockouts Championship, because it seems like TNA for Bound for Glory, is going to basically go. It's basically going to rely on the history of Gail Kim versus Khan, because without really any build, they just announced Gail Kim versus Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong for the TNA World Championship. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's good and all, but what did Kong do to earn that shot? No, it's almost to me, since TNA, it's not just TNA, but in most main promotions, there's this thing called the rematch clause, which for a long time I never really saw never saw the problem with it. But then when I saw certain articles, I started thinking about, you know what, the rematch clause in a way is basically saying you're getting a shot because you lost your title, because you lost your match. You didn't earn a rematch. You just are given one because you lost. But if that's the case with rematch, because like, okay, shouldn't Brooke get the title match instead of Kong, or probably a triple threat match? Because last time I didn't watch that fatal 4-way match for the TNA Knockouts Championship 2 weeks ago. But I saw that, I didn't watch it all the way, but I saw the ending, and it, Lady Tapper and Kong got knocked out of the ring, and then it led to Gail getting a win over beating Brooke for title, and she didn't win with I don't think she won with the eat defeat. She won with a regular pin. So it's almost like, okay, what, to respect to Kong, but she's just giving a title match. Shouldn't Brooke get the next? Shouldn't she get the first crack at? But then again, once again, with TNA, it's extremely surprising because Jade, and most of you guys know, I'm a big fan of Mia Yim, but Jade, she's in TNA. That's what her name is from TNA. Jade, she just got a random title match again. But granted, it was a good match. But she just got a random title match against Gail on this last Impact. I'm thinking, what did Jade / Mia Yim do to get a crack at Gail? And she didn't win a match. She didn't, it's like, it was just, I don't know. Look, I don't wish TNA to fail, but one issue I've always had with TNA lately is that these unpromoted title matches. I think title matches should be promoted unless it's the TV title. Because the TV title for the longest time has been that title that is defended like every week. That's like been the staple for TV, the TV title. But didn't just be having these random, like, for instance, on that same Impact, you had Tigre Uno versus Kenny King, which was a pretty good match. But once again, it's like, it's kind of random, and it's kind of random with Kenny King, period, because he cut a face turn promo, and then the next week he's back to being a heel, and it's like, okay, what was the point of that? But so it's all with the Knockouts title, and while it's pretty cool that Gail and Kong are going to have that first, is going to have that first one-on-one match at Bound for Glory against each other, because they never had a one-on-one match at Bound for Glory. Withstanding their rivalry, their famous rivalry. But I'm just like, oh man, really no build up to it. It was just seemed I just put it out there, Kong versus Gail Kim. I guess relying on their history. Yeah, the history is great, but you can still like promote it a bit. You can still like give a reason for how Kong got, like, you just gave Kong the championship match. And do I predict it to be a good match? I do, but quite honestly, ever since Kong has come back to TNA, I've been feeling that her performances, it's kind of like she's, and I don't know, it might sound disrespectful, and I don't mean disrespect to Kong, but lately since he come back to TNA, sometimes it looks like she's just going through the motions. Obviously I don't think that Kong, is the same Kong. Obviously, she's not the same Kong from 2007, 2008. So yeah, I definitely think people have been seeing that. But you know, yeah, I've just been feeling that yeah, it's pretty good. But Kong lost all that weight. It still kind of feels like she's going through the motion. I don't know if it's like she doesn't have the passion for wrestling anymore. I don't know what it is, but you know she hasn't really had ever since coming back a real big time match, my big time performance. Even the match between her and Jessica Havoc, which was a match I was looking forward to. I think a lot of people was looking forward to because Jessica Havoc had people that knew her from the independents, gained a reputation of being a dominant force, and then Kong had already made a name for herself being a dominant force, and it was like pretty okay. Like it was almost like okay, it was good, but it was almost like kind of happened. For me, it felt that way. Like I know they had a match at one of the one night only, like a hardcore like match. Maybe that was better than the cage match they had. But yeah, so and then for the X-Men title might be on the line, but again, it's probably going to just be random. It's probably not. It's not going to have any build to it. It says right here, I'm on the wiki page. It says it's going to be an Ultimate X match. Ultimate X match. Tigre Uno defending title against Rockstar Spud, DJZ, and Manic. No, once again, it's it's like okay. And they said this was announced on the September 23rd episode of Impact. I didn't hear that unless that was on their YouTube, because they've been doing that lately. They've been actually promoting. You have to go to their YouTube page. See, it says right here that after the Fatal 4-Way, it was announced on Facebook that Kim would defend her belt against Kong. See, and it says that the Wolves would defend their titles against Brian Myers, aka Kurt Hawkins, and Trevor Lee, because they're going to Trevor Lee base their rematch clause. So even though GFW has been rid of TNA, Myers and Trevor Lee are somehow going to get their rematch clause. And then it says that that on the Impact that's going to happen tomorrow, that's going to be aired tomorrow. It says on the September 29th, announced on Impact Wrestling website that it will host others will compete for a future title opportunity. It will be the Bound for Glory, Bound for Gold Gauntlet match, where the last man standing in the ring will earn a coveted chance to achieve greater. The field is like a who's who of wrestling royalty. So it says right here, reading it, that it's going to be Abyss versus Aiden O'Shea. I don't know that it says. On a week it says Jay Bradley. If you guys don't remember who Jay Bradley was, he was in TNA during like the gut check. He was the guy with the boomstick. He tried to build himself as the next Stan Hansen with the Larry and everything. Chris Melendez, it's the Sarge, Eli Drake, Jesse Goddard, Mahabali Shara, or what was his Koya, but he's going by his real name. Mr. Anderson, Robbie E, and Tyrus. All right. No disrespect to those guys, most of the guys in there, but if that was exactly TNA's way of building the match by saying it's like a who's who of wrestling world, the field, that's already false advertisement. No disrespect, because Jay Bradley didn't really do much at TNA. Chris Melendez, despite the fanfare he got for being serving our country and fight and wrestling with basically with one leg. He hasn't really done it. He got that big win finally got that win over Eric Young, but at that point it was almost like that feud kind of ran its course. It was almost like, how many times is this guy going to lose, to Eric Young and everything? Eli Drake hasn't really done much. Jesse Goddard, despite being on his solo run, hasn't really done much. Molly Scherer hasn't really done much, even though his stuff with Storm. And once again, that it shows once again the con of TNA's tapings of all in bulk, because if you're watching Impact now, he's in the middle of something with Storm. But I bet you on Impact, I don't know if it's gonna happen on the Impact, the go home show of Impact, but I bet you after Bound for Glory, I'm not even sure what is it gonna be like for. Did they tape the episodes that are supposed to come after Bound for Glory, or they ceased tapings until after? I don't know. So, because I know they didn't do that for Slammiversary, they kept taping. That's why Slammiversary didn't mention Slammiversary during the taping, during the actual airings, like an actual story. Like you didn't hear at Slammiversary we're gonna face. So you didn't hear that. So this one again is the con of TNA taping in bulk, So I don't even know how, because right now Shearer's in a thing with freaking Storm. So somebody might be watching, wait, why is it not him versus Storm at Bound for Glory then? Because Storm is not even with the company anymore. Mr. Anderson, okay, Mr. Anderson is a pass, because he has been TNA World Champion. He has never held that thing longer than a month, but still, Robbie E, he's had titles, but he hasn't really been main event potential. And Tyrus sure as hell hasn't been main event. The closest he's been to main event is because he's with EC3. So, with the exception of Abyss and Anderson, with the exception of them, the whole it's like a who's who wrestling. It's kind of false advertisement, but it's going to be this Bound for Glory gauntlet match. TNA has done this before. I think they did in the first Bound for Glory. And basically, the winner of the match will get a future shot at the team. I don't know if it's going to be like the Money in the Bank where they get a guaranteed shot. Basically, well, now the girls are going to get guaranteed, but a shot at their own choosing, like the Money in the Bank, or it's just a future shot, and but that's basically it. So yeah, it's just pretty weird, once again, we're seeing the cons of TNA's taping schedules. We really are. And wait, what else? Is there another match they said is going to be on Bound for Glory? Okay, besides Kurt Angle versus Eric Young. So once again, but that's kind of been hinted at. So I mean, it pretty sucks for TNA, and so far it doesn't look like 2015 is going to be the final year of TNA. Even though, look, I have no problem admitting it. The signs seemed to be there that this was going to be the final year of TNA. It really did. From when Ring of Honor came over, it was like questioning, okay, does Destination America, do they really have faith in TNA? Then you had those reports of TNA and Destination America, that the contract is ending in September, from this and that, from from people leaving for GFW. And we thought that the GFW TNA feud was going to be a mixture of reality and kayfabe, where even in kayfabe GFW took over, but it was life art reflecting life, where even in reality GFW was taking over TNA. So, but it seems like 2015 is not going to be the final year for TNA. But just pretty sucks that once again Bound for Glory, is going to be hampered by taping issues again. It sucks for TNA. It really does. I'm not one that wants TNA to fail. I don't want TNA to fail. I want them to succeed, but you can't keep making these mistakes, man. You just can't. Um, you just can't. But that about covers it for this corner. Basically, covered everything on the agenda. It was a pretty chaotic ending to this Raw. I don't know what it's going to lead to in terms of the Wyatt, the whole Wyatts versus, it seems like now Orton's definitely in is in the war, or in Ambrose Reigns, issue. But that was a pretty chaotic ending. Basically there was no winner at all, so kind of gives a reason for it to continue, which is all good. I remember, guys. I predicted this thing to last all the way till Survivor Series. The Survivor Series is the team themed pay-per-view. But that, once again, that about covers it for this episode of the Wrestling Corner. Remember, this was episode 2 of season 5. Next week, we'll be going over Saturday's MSG special. Basically, giving my thoughts on it. Hopefully, it's a good event. Even though, once again, I think it's basically like a glorified house show. But Beast and Beast for a glorified house show wasn't that bad. So basically that will be on the agenda for next week's show. And, I hope you guys enjoyed Raw. I hope you guys have a good week and a good weekend. And until the next Wrestling Corner, stay easy, guys. Peace.